Yeah, I mean, he has that line where they're sitting in the bar in which he's like, let's not talk about real life today. It's just him consistently escaping real life and living in a fantasy.
I mean, at the very least, at the end, he like confesses to her that, hey, I got fired. I'm not going somewhere else to do something else. I lost my job.
All right, we're back. Your Friends and Neighbors, episode 6, The Things You Lost Along the Way.
This is a good breather episode, because I think the last episode we had a lot of chaos in the art thieving and kind of, knowing that we're going to have to deal with some consequences from that. But this is kind of like a respite episode between beats. It's basically Coop and his ex, Mel, take their 2 kids to some university.
Princeton.
Harvard, Yale, Princeton, one of those Ivy Leagues.
Yeah.
And to tour the campus with their daughter because she's wanting to go there. And it's just a family road trip movie.
It is. And the impetus is Coop's got some heat on him. Samantha calls him and she's like, hey, I just got pulled in by these detectives. They're looking for you. Paul's dead. They heard about the fight. You better watch yourself.
Yeah. So it's a get out of Dodge sort of moment for him.
Get out. Yeah. Put some ice on the situation. Get a little ice cream out in Princeton. And you know what? What better time to reconnect with your kids and your ex-wife than a wonderful trip to the university?
I know. This is one of those moments where it's like, is this real life? Because, let's say I had an ex and kids with her.
Yep.
Would I drive with them to Princeton or would I just meet them there?
Yeah, it's weird because it's so amicable. And you're like, is this just how the other half lives? The other 10%, 1%?
Or it could just be that the writers needed them to be together. It's more convenient narratively for them to be together literally the entire time. Because I'm just like, this is playing with fire, Yeah. Especially with, we as the audience know more about kind of Mel's malaise in life right now than Coop does. But after they had that moment on the trampoline at Mel's party where, they got high and were bouncing around, I was just like, oh, things are rekindling.
And we have that speech from Coop in the car as his daughter is kind of like, well, Dad, you don't even love Mom. How would you know? Toria is talking about her boyfriend that Coop just absolutely hates. And she's like, I know what love is. You just left and just let Mom go. And he just tears into her. And he's like, when you love someone for this many years and these kids, and you have all these experience with them, it tears you apart to lose them. Oh, and the whole car goes quiet. And I'm like, yeah, maybe this is a good lesson if any divorced couples are planning on taking road trips. You don't do this. Not that anyone is, but just in case.
Yeah. So basically you get an opportunity to let all the characters kind of breathe. Toria, the kid, the daughter, she gets to kind of be, rather than a big fish in a small pond, a small fish in a big pond here at college. She's going to these mixers and I don't know if she's super into it. And then she's like, no, Dad, I'm going to be in love with my boyfriend forever. And then she goes to this party and the first guy that flirts with her, she ends up making out with him. Yeah. And he's like, but don't you have a boyfriend? She's like, yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah. All right. It's in the family.
And this is how it goes. This
infidelity thing is just all over the place. And then you get the son who Coop is arranged to have a day in the sound studio or whatever. And so he gets to hang with cool kids and sounds because, he just got suspended from school or didn't get suspended from school, almost got suspended from school for drug dealing, unintentional drug dealing, but still.
Yeah. Looking at the campus of Princeton, I'm like, what a day for these kids. What a day. I don't know if you ever got to tour campuses before going to BYU.
Oh, I toured BYU before going to BYU.
I toured BYU before going to BYU. It was the summer before I would have gone. And my cousin walked me around. He's like, yeah, and here's where you do this, and here's where you do this. Here's Graham Canyon ice cream. Here's a maple bar. There's my favorite Jamba Juice. And I was like, cool. Didn't go to another campus. And I was like, I know where I'm going, so there's that. To imagine a day where your parents are alumni and it's some faraway school in a beautiful storied history. It's super expensive. And to have guides and everything else going on, I don't know what that's like.
I know.
I didn't even do freshman orientation. During freshman orientation, my family was there. They're like, well, we're going to dinner, so you're coming with us. And I was like, cool. So A little bit of FOMO for me, but also
Yeah.
not. Watching it, I'm like, this is kind of a clusterfuck.
Yeah. Because then, you just basically get Coop and Mel, who are ex-spouses, by the way. Like we should remember that. It's very important. She is currently seeing Nick. They are dating.
They're
He's
living
like
together.
living with them. They just get to run around a college campus all day like they're kids again, and be day drunk
Yeah.
and just kind of bounce off each other like moths around a flame. And the flame being they're gonna fuck.
Yeah. It's coming. Choice words. Especially, it's hard to watch this because as we cut back and forth between Elena overhearing the detective asking questions and all these different things, we have Nick just like getting his shots and free throw shooting in their little basketball court, talking to the detective, and they're like, "Would Coop do something like this?" And he's like, "Nah, nah, nah." Paul was always a hothead. Paul liked to get in fights. If that was even a fight between them, it was a tiny scuffle. It's no big deal. Coop's
Yeah.
solid. I love Coop. And you see him on the flip side being like, "My ex-wife and I probably about to have sex."
Yeah.
So it's a little difficult because our hero is a bastard.
Yeah, he is a bastard. He is a bastard because, this is just another one of those moments where you just get people who live in a fantasy, right? It's
Yeah.
so detached from real life because you get Mel and they go into some convenience store and she steals a bottle of jam.
Yeah.
For why? I don't know. Because she needs to feel something because she doesn't know how to feel anything as like a rich upper class white woman. She just can't. I mean, that's condescending of me to say, but
It's true.
it's what you got to key a car. You got to steal a bottle of jam just to feel something. Like
Yeah.
maybe talk to a therapist. Good Lord. You are a therapist,
The
but go talk.
therapist need, yeah.
And then Coop has to rise up and defend her because he doesn't know that she's stolen a jam and she doesn't know, he doesn't know the character development that she's had of going through something right now. And so, then they're both of them living in a fantasy, like living in this nostalgia of days past, which is, which isn't the real life of their real lives. Like
Yeah.
Coop can be really romantic and fun on, a day away at Princeton with his ex-wife. But as soon as he gets put back in the context of being the day trader who has a portfolio and needs to get all this money to, pay for all this shit, he might disappear again.
He's really good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he has that line where they're sitting in the bar when they first start their menagerie, in which he's like, let's not talk about real life today. Nothing real life. Let's just keep it all quiet. And fun in a way, but also it's just him consistently escaping real life and living in a fantasy of, we can just pretend it's all not real. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least, near the end, he like confesses to her that, hey, I got fired from my
Yeah.
job. I'm not going somewhere else to do something else. I lost my job. I got fired.
Which is nice to see a little shred of honesty in there.
Yeah. But then, the thing happens, they sneak into a church and steal the wafers and have some wafers and jam and then start making out in the church. And the priest comes out and they're like, oh my gosh, sorry, I blah, blah, blah. And then they go back to the hotel room and they fuck.
Yeah.
Which, like, surprise, surprise, we knew that it was going to happen.
It's a little steamy. And it's interesting that it's juxtaposed with their daughter, Tori, also cheating and fucking
Yeah.
some college guy.
Yeah.
It's just back to back, and you're kind of like, oh man. And you see her frustration and her like emotions where she's like, I shouldn't have cheated. I just slept with this. I can't even believe it. And Coop's just standing there being like, well, you don't know what I've done, daughter. You
Yeah.
don't know what I've done.
Yeah. And then they drive back the next day.
Yeah.
And the voiceover narration is like, I finally resolved. I'm going to get everything that I lost back. I'm going to get my wife back. I'm going to blah, blah, blah. I'm going to get it all back. And they go out to dinner at this fancy place. And then it's raining outside. And he sees Barney. Barney's there.
Yeah.
And Barney's like, oh, it's just like old times. He's like, it's just dinner, Barney. And then he goes outside to go get an umbrella from his car. And then a car full of mobsters rolls up and starts beating the shit out of him.
Yep.
And then Barney sees it out the window and he's like, oh no, my best friend Coop. So then he runs out there and just gets hit by a car.
Yeah.
And gets knocked out. And then I don't even know what disperses them, but they disperse. And then, then he has to go to the hospital.
And we know who it is, right? Yeah, we
Yeah,
see it this
Garfield. Yeah,
episode.
we see him drive by and give him the stink eye.
We see Christian, Mr. Olafsson, just give him the stink eye. He fucked with the wrong guy. He fucked
Yeah,
with the wrong guy. He's not getting paid on his painting, and he just got the crap beat out of him.
yeah.
Coop's headed to the hospital. It's a nice way to end the idyllic dream of being teens again that has been this whole episode.
Yeah, just like really bringing you back to reality that like Coop is not untouched by that his actions have consequences, and I think that he is a guy who thinks that he can perpetually outrun the consequences of his own choices.
Yeah. And not this time. Not this time.
Not this time.
Any last words before we go to episode 7 next week?
Just that Barney really got hit by that car. Just like insane. It was jarring narratively. I'm just like,
Yeah.
what? He just gets hammered by this thing? Anyways.
Gets hit pretty hard. There was one more scene with Samantha in this episode where she's at like a makeup shop or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I like to see her taking back her power even more and just being like, no, don't tell me what I am or can't be. Don't tell me what I need as far as makeups, cream, stretching, whatever else. It's nice. It's nice to see her kind of step up and be the badass.
Yeah, it is.
I'm liking her character arc. Well, let's wrap it up there for today. That is episode 6 of Your Friends and Neighbors. Go watch it again on Apple TV Plus, and we'll be back next Friday with episode 7.